Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and oh my gosh, today we got just absolutely blasted with all the news. So we're gonna try and cover through most of it, but before we get into it, make sure you guys are subscribed because there's gonna be follow-on videos for the things that we don't get to today. There's gonna be there's just tons of stuff to kind of delve into. A very exciting kind of day that they just, like I said, just dropped everything. I think they're just gonna drop everything on us, go on their weekend, and then just kind of come back on the, we're about to have a big weekend here in America. But so first, let's go ahead and just cover what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to cover the road ahead, today's update, some of the raid news, though we're not going to go too deep into it, some of Galactic Legend Ahsoka requirements, and then just some of the game stuff that's happening. What we won't be covering today is exactly like the raid strategies that we're coming up with. I've spent a little bit of time in it. I think I've got a good grasp of it, but I want to let a few days, let everything kind of build up and see where the theory crafters go with it. I'm definitely not that guy whenever it comes to raids. I just like to, I'm a simple man. I like to just push some buttons and then hopefully get a good score. But that being said, we are also not going to get into the datacrons. The datacrons right now are broken in like two different, maybe even multiple different senses. One of the ways is they're like just actually crazy broken. Like some of them are really, really good. The other one is like they're actually broken. I'm pretty sure they have like right now they have disagreeing like level 3s with level 9s, right? So you might have like a light side level 3 and then like a Wampa level 9 or something like that, right? So I think they're going to fix that. But so before we kind of, get too deep into what we're planning with, we will come up with a video for that, so that way you guys have your your datacrons that you can go in and farm conquest for, which is coming up. So let's get into the road ahead. All right, we're gonna kind of go over some of these things because we kind of talked about it in yesterday's video with the kit reveal, but I basically said, hey, I think there's gonna be more Imperial Remnant. They kind of also hinted at it too, but it looks like we've got the Night Trooper coming in, right? We have the Death Trooper Perita. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. And then we have Captain Enoch. Now, they're showing us basically the skins. It looks really cool. It looks very specific, or it looks very accurate to what happened in the show Ahsoka. If you haven't watched that show, you're going to be lost for probably the next 3 months. It sounds like we are entering into the Ahsoka show from Disney Plus, as they state right here. But yeah, it looks really good, honestly. Like the stuff that they're doing artwork wise right now, I think is it. You might not be a fan of the style, but it is a modern approach. Like they are trying to bring the game up into the modern graphics era, which is really, really good for us and really cool to see. We'll get into a little bit more of that later on. We also are told that we're going to get more Night Sisters to get this Great Mother squad. They are convinced that we aren't going to. We're going to have two Night Sister squads. To their credit, I'd say they're probably about 50-50 on that kind of stuff, right? Like when they introduce Imperial Remnants, they're like, hey, it's not going to affect the Imperial Troopers, and that is true. It didn't. But there's been many other cases where, they're like, hey, this isn't going to happen. Like these things don't work together. And then we're like, no, they really do. So I guess we're just going to make a super team. So yeah, we're going to get the Great Mothers. And like I said yesterday, I thought Morgan Elsbeth was going to come in. It looks like she is. So they kind of gave you some teams to run with her potentially, or with these two, the Great Mothers and Morgan Elsbeth. But I guess to be determined on that. If you really like your Night Sisters, congratulations, your era is here. I know whenever I first started this game, in like 2017, maybe 2016, whatever it was, there was a weird like faction of people that just loved Night Sisters. I never kind of got that, but to those people, if you're still playing, here you guys go. We also got our next Conquest character announced very early on, but we now know it. It's going to be Ezra. Again, I'm assuming it's the kind of hermit Ezra guy that we saw in Ahsoka. And so yeah, they're gonna share details with that. They also gave a little bit of an update on the PC open beta. They are saying that it's a success with the closed beta. I would agree. I think it's a fantastic platform to play this game. Again, sort of modernizing the game into like from the 2015 shell that it was to, you know, like a 2023 version of the shell. So yeah, I'm excited, and I hope that everyone can partake in this. If you haven't played on it, it's actually just a huge treat. It looks better, it works better, there's less bugs, in my opinion. Yeah, it's just overall better. So that's pretty much it. That's what they kind of said. Now they also said that we are going to get a Balon. They didn't announce it in this Rotorhead. I don't know why, but Balon is going to be a epic confrontation, right? So similar to what Gas and Malik and now Bo-Katan Mandalore. So we don't know. It doesn't. They said they're never going to go back to the get one, get two kind of thing, where you have to buy shards. So I'm assuming we're going to have to just get the 7 stars from the event. But yeah, they didn't go too much into depth with it. But the next thing we want to talk about here is this Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano hub. Right, so they're going to give us puzzle hunts that are going to be kicking off over the coming months. And I guess, I don't know if it's going to just show us who's going to be in here. But I mean, if we're to take this for what it's worth, that looks like it's Ahsoka's starfighter, right? Looks like there's going to be 4 dark side here. I'm assuming Balon's going to be one. But again, who knows? Maybe it's just the Night Trooper and Captain Enoch and the other Death Trooper guy, and then maybe like Morgan Elsbeth. I don't know. But yeah, actually, you know what? One of them has to be Asajj, so I take that back because they give us our first 4 right here. So we're gonna have to have Night Trooper, so that's 1. We're gonna have Ahsoka Tano at Relic 9, Gas at Relic 8, and Asajj Ventress at Relic 5. So hopefully this is more some of the heavier ones that we have to deal with. Usually I think they try to like lean into the heavier ones. I wouldn't assume that we get too many, like, the rest of them are Relic 5s, but Relic 7s ish, right? Like, I think that would be fair. So yeah, anyways, that's gonna be, if you guys are going for Ahsoka Tano, these are all good characters. I mean, I'm assuming Night Trooper is gonna be really good. He reads really well. So go ahead, Relic away. So next thing that we're going to talk about is the news that came in. Obviously, Battle for Naboo is here. Again, I'm not going to go into too much depth, but it seems like the Gungans, especially if you have Jar Jar, they're an auto team. It seems like Luminara is fantastic in the raid. She's going to be another high relic character that you're going to get. Queen Amidala and her Jedi are really good. I've seen 3 manning. And then there's currently a bug right now with B2. Those teams are all doing really well. Again, I don't know which is a bug versus what's intended. I don't know if they really want Queen Amidala pretty much maxing the Relic 9 tiers at a 3-man. Again, who knows? But the one thing that I can say right now that I have felt personally is these raids aren't going to be the quick Endor raids where you get into the battle, 2 minutes later, you've hit enrage and they just blow you up. It is a long fight. It is, of my kind of 4 teams that I've ran, I would say I'm averaging around like 7 to 8 minutes. Again, some of it's on auto, so maybe you could faster play through it. I don't know, more efficiently play through it. But just so you guys know, it is going to take some time. And even though we lost some teams from the Endor to Naboo, I think we're going to make up that time with the amount of time that it takes per run. Doesn't seem like there's as much RNG though, so that's good. Yeah, obviously, Night Trooper and Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano added to the Journey Guide. All character portraits have been updated. Again, we'll kind of go into this a little bit later, But big thing that I want to highlight here is that Cam's unique ability is changed. It used to be like when you added on the Omicron, or sorry, not the Omicron, the Omega, he would taunt. For a while, many people just kind of didn't add that because they didn't want Cam taunting, because he was around a lot of times for his unique. His unique doesn't work if he's dead. So they didn't want him taunting, especially those that were still trying to run like a 5-star Cam back in the day. But they seem to change that. I don't know if it's because something to do with a raid interaction. I don't know if it's because they were like, hey, this doesn't really make sense from the taunt anymore. No one's adding the Omega. Like, I don't know exactly what they decided to do, but they have now added this protection up for 30% for 3 turns. Okay, so the rest of this is just kind of the known issues. Again, they know that datacrons are broken right now. They know there's quite a bit of stuff with the battle for Naboo. Like I said, we've already broken it. It didn't take us very long. So yeah, anyways, let's go into the game really quick. And I kind of want to show you, like, this is pretty insane, man. Like, literally all the characters that were pretty much, I'd say, done before 2024 all got portrait updates. And I will say this, some of them are a little bit hard to tell what they're actually trying to depict. Some of them are really, really good, and they look way better than what they used to look like before. I think with time, we will all kind of grow to accept and learn what the new character portraits look like. But it's going to take some time, right? It is going to take some time. I know some people have said, like, it looks like just like AI has done this. Maybe, who knows? Maybe like that's how they ended up doing it. But what I will say is, whether you like it or whether you don't like it, from a art standpoint, I would say we should just at least appreciate that, like I said earlier, they are trying to bring up the game to a modern standpoint when it comes to graphics and stuff like that. We had a lot of really poor portraits. We had a lot of poor kind of graphics. So I'm glad that they're taking the time to kind of level everything up, so to speak, right? Like that they're not, that this shows in many ways, at least in my opinion, that they're not just ready to kind of shut the doors or anything like that, right? You wouldn't spend all that time, you wouldn't spend the money and the resources that it takes to update portraits if you just were like, hey guys, we're really only in this for the short run, right? As soon as the money dries out, we're all gone. They're doing stuff, right? And they, like I said, they're trying to modernize the game. One of the, I think the downfalls, I would say, of having this old of a game, which is, I think, coming up on 9 years, 8 years, maybe 9 years, is that what we were used to and accustomed to in 2015 doesn't pass for us in 2024, right? Like, that's just not going to happen. So I'm glad, like I said, that they are putting some resources in trying to make this game look good, so that way we can continue playing it for however long. So anyways, just want to say that, like I said, I'm not a fan of every single art piece that they did, but I'd say for the most part, it looks really cool. And like I said, I'm really glad that they did it. Let me know what your guys' thoughts on it are. And like I said, guys, if you guys haven't subscribed, make sure you guys do. I will be giving out those must-have datacrons later on in the week. So that way you guys can kind of set aside them and start to farm them as you need. But that is all that we're going to be able to do tonight, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.